Between the coasts of Iran and Oman lies a maritime channel exactly 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. For decades, the Strait of Hormuz operated as a reliable, open artery for international trade. This animated map visualizes the daily baseline traffic forced through that specific gap. We are looking at roughly 20 million barrels of crude oil and 20% of the world's liquefied natural gas squeezing through a 21-mile choke point every single day. In late February 2026, an air war involving the United States, Israel, and Iran broke out. In retaliation to a decapitation strike, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps issued warnings and ultimately blockaded the strait to Western allied shipping. Maritime logistics ground to a sudden halt. Hundreds of massive commercial tankers carrying over 170 million barrels of crude and refined products were forced to drop anchor in the open ocean, immobilized. Closing a waterway this small instantly choked off 1/5 of global energy consumption. A localized physical conflict translated directly into an immediate global market paralysis. The financial reaction was instantaneous. Brent crude prices surged past $126 a barrel as the market priced in the locked-up supply. But crude oil does have a small degree of logistical flexibility. Producers like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates can divert small volumes overland using existing pipeline infrastructure, bypassing the contested coast entirely. Liquefied natural gas requires specialized spherical containment tanks on massive seafaring vessels to stay cold and pressurized. You cannot put it in a standard crude pipeline. Because there are no overland bypasses for these specialized ships, the maritime blockade acts as an absolute physical cap on global natural gas availability. To see who absorbs the brunt of that deficit, we have to follow the halted maritime trade routes eastward across the Indian Ocean. This flow map connects Gulf energy exports to their primary buyers. An overwhelming 80% of the oil and LNG trapped behind the blockade was destined for Asian markets, specifically China, Japan, South Korea, and India. Stripped of their primary energy source, these nations are resorting to severe domestic countermeasures. South Korea activated massive market stabilization funds, while countries like India face the immediate prospect of energy rationing just to keep basic infrastructure running. Geographic distance and high import reliance dictate exactly where the economic damage lands. Asia is forced to absorb the primary, hardest impact of the supply shock. The arithmetic of the blockade extends well beyond fossil fuels. The Persian Gulf is also a critical hub for raw industrial materials. This visualization shows the region's hold on global metals. 9% of global aluminum supply relies on transit through the strait. It's also a massive source of urea and ammonia. 30 to 35% of all synthetic fertilizers are trapped behind this exact blockade. The immediate absence of raw aluminum is causing severe financial damage in Europe, where chemical and steel manufacturers have imposed surcharges of up to 30% just to offset their surging electricity and feedstock costs. The fertilizer shortage operates on a delay. With the Northern Hemisphere spring planting season starting, a lack of nitrogen fertilizers now guarantees long-term reductions in crop yields months down the line. Severing this specific energy route starves the factories that build our goods and the farms that grow our food. It functions as a systemic, cascading attack on global manufacturing and food security. The international response to mitigate this supply shock is being coordinated by the International Energy Agency. In an attempt to stabilize the market, the IEA authorized a historic measure, a coordinated release of 400 million barrels of oil from emergency stockpiles. There is a critical mathematical limit to this defense. You can release stored oil, but the global economy does not have internationally coordinated strategic reserves for liquefied natural gas or synthetic fertilizer. To manually suppress consumption, governments are implementing strict demand-side policies. 32 nations have adopted measures ranging from mandated work-from-home rules to national highway speed limit reductions. When international supply-side interventions hit their physical limits, these restrictive domestic policies become the final available line of defense. Relying on emergency reserves and forced consumer rationing is not a viable long-term economic strategy. These interventions are strictly temporary stopgaps. They buy time, but they do nothing to actually repair the severed supply chain at its source. The modern global economy will remain structurally flawed as long as its foundational commodities are forced to pass through a single, undefended maritime choke point.